Alrighty, in this box is the Mk7 bike. This is the first bike I've built to order, so it's not staying in the garage, but we're gonna build it, break it in, and then send it on its way. So let's get stuck into it and see what we have to work with. Here we have a vintage frame bike. Now the wide open frame should make it very easy to stick an engine on, but we've got quite a bit of mucking around to do. Now this seat post I know is not staying on the bike because there's a different style that's going to go on that bike, but for now that'll do. It doesn't look too comfortable, it's not suspended, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Here's a nice sturdy frame with a, oh there it is, sort of a clip down seat, not seat, rack. Unlike my Mark 5 bike, this comes with a mounting point, so I will not be having to drill this frame just to put a rack on it. Of course, the rack for the Mark 5 came with the e-bike conversion kit, as the battery for the e-bike was mounted in the rack and didn't actually come with the bike. So I made that work and it's held up fairly well. But I'm very relieved that I don't have to go drilling into the frame. I don't know if unpacking the bike is my favourite part or my least favourite part, but I'm having fun. So I'm going to talk a minute about these metal front fenders. They can be a death trap, because what happens is the vibration from the motor vibrates and eventually it wears out the metal around here. The mountings will snap and it'll get caught up in the wheel, wrapped around, and before you know it, your wheel is a taco and you're dead, basically. So I'm going to start by putting this on the bike because it does look cool. But if I'm not happy that I've been able to reinforce it, then it'll have to come off the bike. So basically what I'll do is I'll mount it and then I'll try and put in a fail-safe, even if that is just a couple of cable ties or something. I won't know until I start building. But what I want to make sure is that if this mounting point, this is the weak spot, if that does fail, I'm going to be able to keep that away from the wheel so it doesn't get wrapped around and twisted up. But that is, it's solid, it's a nice piece of metal and it looks cool. It's going to look great on the bike. I just hope that I can make it safe. That has got a really solid kickstand on it, and I'll show you that in greater detail later. One of the worst things about most kickstands is they are pathetic. They will flex under the weight of the bike. And especially once you add a motor and a fuel tank on top of all that, they don't tend to last very long. So I'm very happy to see that that is solid. I should read this manual. It's what it says. You should read this manual. No. Now, these handlebars will not be staying on the bike, but for the purpose of making it easy to work on, so I can turn the bike upside down, we'll leave them on for now. I just want to show you what this looks like down here. That's why I think this will be a really good build, is the gap that we have here between the wheel hub and the frame, which means there's plenty of room to put our big sprocket in there. Now, I'm very nervous of these derailleurs because I have had them let go on me. You know, 3 laps around and get the chain all twisted up. So I do like to be especially careful, especially on a brand new bike like this, to make sure that we look after the derailleur and make sure that we put the bike out of harm's way when we're not working on the frame. So, the next step of the build is to get the tyre off the rim so we can prepare the rim and reinforce the lining to stop the spokes from poking up and giving you a nasty flat in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so let's have a talk about our rims and what we're doing. All tyres come with this strip of rubber, which, if I can just get that tool in there. Now, this rim is double reinforced, which is a very, very good sign. This means this is a really, really strong rim, and it will resist bending and it will resist those pinch flats. But it can still happen if you have hit a pothole, especially with these skinny tyres. The wheel can flex and the spokes can still pop up. It is a good sign that we have that reinforced wall in there, but the only thing protecting it is that little strip of rubber. So what we're going to do, replace the rubber, a few layers of tape around the rim just to play it on the safe side, because repairing a puncture in the middle of the bush, nah. Alright, so as we can see here, we've added tape all the way around. Now, I don't know how we'll focus with this light, but there's a couple of things I want to point out. Maybe we can do it this way. You should still be able to see the profile of the rim in there. So as you finish taping, just even with a fingertip, just go along and press the tape down into there. You need to make sure that the tape is not interfering with the bead on the rim like it is there. You don't need to get too technical about it. Just tidy it up, because you don't want anything that's going to stop that tyre from sticking on that rim. Because I've had a tyre roll off the rim before. If you haven't seen my Mk7 crash video, go look it up. It's nasty. And that wasn't caused by tape, I'm going to say. It was caused by about 800 or 900 kilometers worth of travel without a proper service. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tape up the front wheel now, put the tyres back on, and then we'll go on, get some air in the tyres, and we can start putting this bike back together properly. Alright, so once we've got our tyres back on, you just want to go around, check the bead. You might have to just give it a stretch and a pull just to make sure that it's beaded evenly all the way around the rim, and that way you won't get any pinches in the tyre or the inner tube when you go to inflate it. All Alrighty, so the tyres are on, the brakes feel good, in the fronts are solid. Okay, so the kickstand on this bike is really solid, really chunky. It's not going to bend under the weight of the bike even once we get the motor on. And it does have adjustable length. With a 4mm Allen key you can undo this locking nut, or locking bolt I should say, and raise or lower the length of the stand to keep it more upright. So this is how we're looking at the moment. Perfectly practical bike, but now we're going to go ahead and change the dynamics completely.